Aboard a massive research ship drifting through space, cries for help echo through the hallways. The interior of the ship is completely covered in a strange, sticky slime. A squad of soldiers searches every corner, trying to find any survivors, but suddenly they reach a place and see something that leaves them in shock. Amid so many bodies, they hear a cry for help, but in reality the one calling out is the very monster that wiped out the entire crew. One by one, the soldiers are taken down by the alien. Driven by an insatiable hunger, the creature sets off in search of more victims. Nothing and no one will be able to stop this monstrosity until it reaches its goal. It will devour any living being that dares cross its path. Now let's find out how this alien creature became the supreme life form of the galaxy. Our story takes place inside a survival game called Space Survival, where the protagonist is a veteran. The player says that in this game, it's necessary to choose an alien race. He has already chosen to be a metallic gremlin and destroyed human spaceships. He also became a mutant monster and fought enemies in hand-to-hand combat, and even transformed into a hive mind, conquering planet after planet. The protagonist has played with all possible creatures, but only one really won him over. He calls this monster a morph, inspired by a creature from a famous horror movie. At first glance, this race seems super powerful, but in reality, it's the complete opposite. Even so, what made the player like this race so much was the freedom of choice it offers. We see the protagonist starting his new journey as an amorph. The small alien stares at the screen. He seems a bit lost, confused. The protagonist complains about starting this new phase as such a fragile creature. He blames himself for liking that alien from the famous horror movie so much, but he knows he doesn't have time to be thinking about those things. Suddenly, the creature is overcome by an absurd itch. The player had no idea that skin shedding caused such intense itching. Now the small alien goes out in search of food because the hunger hit hard. The monster starts looking for food inside a warehouse. He knows he needs to hide well, because if the humans find him, he might die. He activates his hypersensibility. This ability allows him to scan the containers in the warehouse. The entire space around can be scanned with his hypersenses. Finally, he finds something to eat and kill the hunger. What he looks for to feed on is inside the container just below. The small alien realizes he needs a password to open the container. The creature is super disappointed to see that the password was simply 1234. The monster finally reaches his goal. He begins to open a chocolate bar. Surely this will help to satisfy the hunger. The player comments that it feels like rubber, but it has the necessary nutrients. The alien turns quickly because he notices something interesting. He grabs a cockroach with the tip of his tail. The creature is surprised to have found a cockroach there. The monster is happy to find such a tasty insect to eat. Suddenly, a game notification appears asking if he accepts his new ability. The protagonist remembers that the amorph can inherit abilities from the beings it eats. He thinks having wings would be very useful to survive better, so he accepts. Little by little, the new ability starts to emerge. Finally, the alien evolves and now has wings, but the player wonders how he's going to be able to fly. He believes he needs to imagine the back muscles moving. The protagonist gets ready to test this theory, and we see that he really manages to make the creature fly. The monster goes back to the container to devour more chocolate bars. He realizes he's spending more energy than expected. The small alien observes some cockroaches. The creature knows he will need a specific ability to use his wings well. He grabs another cockroach to feed. The monster devours the small insect. Our protagonist realizes that, even after eating 20 cockroaches, the ability he wants still hasn't appeared. While chewing another cockroach, something catches his attention. A game notification shows that he gained a new ability, but this is not exactly the one he was looking for. This new ability will help reduce his appetite a lot. The creature realizes he will still have to eat many more cockroaches, so he starts moving to another place. He begins to jump between containers to find more cockroaches. The monster finally finds 2 more cockroaches using his wings. The alien jumps and grabs one of them, while the other runs away. The small insect is devoured immediately. The creature sees that the second cockroach is escaping. He charges full speed toward the insect. The cockroach hides, and the alien ends up hitting his head on the containers. The monster gets angry at what just happened. He uses his tail to try to reach the insect. The creature manages to catch the cockroach that had fled. Without thinking twice, he swallows the insect. Only the little cockroach legs are left behind. The player realizes that this action activated the alien's predator effect. Finally, he gets the long-awaited robust vitality ability. Little by little, this new ability begins to make the creature's body much stronger. Now the protagonist finally has an important ability. But he knows this still isn't the end of the journey. He knows he needs to evolve quickly to reach his goal. The creature will have to explore beyond the cargo bay. At this moment, the alien has already decided his next step. He's going straight to the cooling room next to the ship's reactor, and if it doesn't work, he can destroy the reactor and escape. The creature starts to enter through the ventilation duct. The monster gets ready to go to the cooling room. Suddenly, something catches his attention. A large fan blocks the alien's path. He realizes he's in trouble. The protagonist begins to unscrew one of the bolts. Finally, he releases the iron grate of the fan. He knows he needs to pass through the fan without triggering the ship's alarms. The monster activates his hypersensibility. The creature realizes that the fan blade spins more slowly at a specific point. After analyzing everything, the player jumps toward the blade. He knows now it's all or nothing. The jump happens exactly when the blade spins more slowly. The tip of his tail ends up getting hit. The alien loses balance because of the touch on the fan blade. He feels relieved to still be alive. The monster stays firm in his objective. While walking through the ducts, he ends up hearing people talking. These people were talking about a lab test. The guys mention it's already time to end the workday. The creature understands that those two are part of the Megacorp research team. The protagonist explains that Megacorp is a faction formed by giant corporations, and that, among all the humans in the game, Megacorp members are the cruelest. He remembers that this corporation even turns some people into slaves. The monster flies out of the duct. Now it's time to understand what's going on inside the ship. The creature activates his hypersenses to find out what kind of research is done there. If it's something related to super mutants, that can help evolve his strength. And if it's about psychic powers, it'll grant super powerful abilities. The protagonist knows that psychic powers will be very useful on his journey. Suddenly, the alien starts to hear cries for help. He goes out searching to find where the call is coming from. The creature realizes that the call comes from a pink amoeba. The player notices that the ability of that pink thing doesn't seem useful for his amorph. Even so, he uses his hypersenses to try to find a clue. His senses show that the amoeba is being shocked as part of an experiment. The alien also detects which button needs to be pressed to stop that. The pink creature thanks the protagonist for turning off the electricity. The monster realizes someone is coming, so he flies in a panic and hides on a shelf near other experiments. The lab door opens. A woman's shoe appears, indicating that a human has entered. The scientist asks her subordinate about experiment 26. She says that this experiment needs to show results soon, and reminds the guy that if results take too long, he'll be fired. The woman scolds the subordinate. The man gets all nervous under the pressure. The boss says she's counting on him to make the experiment succeed. She even reminds him that if he's successful, he could be promoted. The woman says good results will guarantee great contacts on Mars. She comments that Martians are super interested in this project. The subordinate asks if he can apply a substance called selonium. The boss replies that they haven't tested that on the experiment yet. She remembers that selonium is the only substance left to be tested. So she orders the subordinate to apply the substance immediately. The alien protagonist watches all of this from hiding. The scientist starts to follow the boss's orders. With that, the amoeba starts to feel pain. The pink creature is shaking a lot. The boss orders the subordinate to apply the full dose. She takes control herself and continues the experiment. At that moment, the amoeba feels unbearable pain. The scientist watches everything with a smile on her face. The player can only watch that horrible scene. She orders the scientist to keep testing on the pink creature, and asks to be notified if any important results appear. Suddenly, something catches the boss's attention. She looks toward the experiment shelves, but ends up leaving the lab without finding anything. The monster is still nervous for almost being caught. He feels disturbed by everything he just saw. Soon that woman will meet her fate. We see a place full of tubes. The creature starts shooting greenish slime all over the environment. He finally reaches one of his goals. Now the alien can feel the entire ship with his hypersenses. The monster created that nest to gather as much information as possible. We see the player walking through the ventilation ducts, thinking about everything that happened. He's been observing the scientist's routine. That woman is the leader of the research team, and her name is Kisaragi Eugene. The player remembers that 2 days ago there was an incident, and in just 2 hours she managed to recapture the creature that had escaped. He knows it'll be too dangerous to leave her alive for much longer. Once again, unexpectedly, she looks toward a spot. The woman feels like she's being watched. One of the soldiers asks if something happened. Kisaragi says it's nothing important. The alien starts to wonder if that woman has some kind of psychic power. He remembers that these powers are like superpowers, and that among humans, very few awaken this kind of ability. The monster questions how he's going to distract the guards who are with her. While thinking about that, the system notifies him that a new ability has been acquired. The paralyzing venom ability will be super useful since his body is very fragile. Just a tiny drop is enough to paralyze a Nadu for 5 minutes. But the creature knows he'll have to engage in direct combat for it to really work. The player realizes that overthinking now won't help at all, so he leaves his nest to unwind a bit. He returns to the research lab. We see that the pink amoeba is happy with his presence. The alien comments that he brought food for his new friend. He throws some chocolate pieces into a compartment. These pieces go straight to the pink creature. The experiment thanks him for the food. The protagonist wonders if those tests changed the creature in the tank. He remembers that the head scientist has a pet cat. Attacking the cat might reveal a weakness in that woman. The kitten stays alone in her room. The creature observes the cat as it rolls around on the bed. He notices the little animal is very well cared for by its owner. The monster activates his hypersenses to come up with a strategy. Then he discovers there are laser sensors on the grate of the room where the cat is. The protagonist slaps his tail in frustration for being out of ideas. This noise catches the cat's attention. The feline runs to the grate and startles the alien. At that moment, the pet starts scratching the ventilation duct grate. 2 soldiers enter the room to see what's going on. They're disappointed to see it's just the cat making a mess. The monster breathes a sigh of relief for escaping once again. He blames himself for making noise with his tail. But suddenly, an idea pops into his head. The plan to eliminate the cat now seems perfect. We see something catch the cat's attention right inside the ventilation duct. As it approaches, the feline sees a little cockroach there. Immediately, the cat launches into the hunt. The soldiers think all that noise must be the cat's fault. The kitty keeps chasing the cockroach, moving through the duct. Soon, it reaches the container bay. It sees that it's finally going to catch the little roach. Our protagonist takes advantage of the distraction to attack the cat. He injects the paralyzing venom into the feline. The little animal starts rolling in pain on top of the container. At that moment, the alien gets ready to finish the job. He is extremely satisfied with the taste of his prey. Now we see the chief scientist and her 2 soldiers arriving on the command bridge. She asks the captain when she'll be able to see the cat again. The captain asks her to wait a little longer. The woman complains, saying it's already been 2 hours. With a very irritated face, she shouts that the cat needs to eat. The captain reminds her that they are inside a spaceship. He says that, sooner or later, the soldiers will find the cat. The man says that patience will bring good results. But inside, he's full of anger at her attitude. Kisaragi asks about the soldiers who were guarding the cat. She orders both of them to be executed immediately. She reminds the captain that he has the authority to make that kind of decision. The scientist gets even more irritated with the captain's response. The man tries to correct himself, saying he will punish the soldiers after the search is over. Kisaragi says all this happened because the guards didn't do their job right. Visibly nervous, the captain says he understands the research chief's requests. He states that he'll use this situation to restore discipline among the troops. The woman takes a pause after so much stress. She turns and says she'll be back in 2 hours, but warns the captain that he better get results, or it's best he reconsider his position. The chief scientist leaves the area, visibly stressed by all this. The captain is boiling with rage from all the pressure. He wonders where the cat ended up. Our protagonist observes everything and remembers the feline is already in his stomach. He thinks about the wild instinct ability he just obtained. The player remembers memorizing several ability fusions after so many hours played, but this new ability was new to him. Because of that, his hypersenses evolved into predator instincts. The alien even tried to use the new ability together with the hypersenses, but it didn't work. He realizes it might be a passive ability that activates on its own when needed, but he knows that for now, he has another goal. Kisaragi is devastated by the disappearance of the cat. Because of that, she locks herself in the research lab. The player realizes that his whole plan is going as expected. His objective is about to be fulfilled. The incident with the cat created tension between the scientist and the soldiers. They always saw the cat eating the best of the best, while they only ate basic stuff. A situation like that would upset anyone. Basically, the guards are lower class, while Kisaragi belongs to the elite. And in this cold war between classes, the cat paid the price with its life. The protagonist wonders what's going to happen after such a big clash. Now both the soldiers and the scientist have become enemies of each other. The alien thanks the little cat for helping with his goal. Soon, Kisaragi's genes will be absorbed by our monster protagonist. We see the woman completely furious about something. She starts running through the lab. A lizard-like creature ends up getting shocked. Kisaragi storms toward another part of the lab. She notices something that catches her attention. The woman, clearly agitated, stares at the pink amoeba's tank. The creature feels fear seeing the scientist approaching. Kisaragi gives a sinister smile. At that moment, she presses a button. The pink amoeba starts to feel terrible pain. After causing that suffering, the woman leaves the lab. Our protagonist is outraged by everything his friend went through. At that moment, the amoeba asks the alien for food. The alien just watches the creature in the tank. He walks away, thinking that talking to the amoeba now would be a waste of time. 2 hours later, the chief scientist returns and asks the captain about the results. She starts getting even more irritated when he asks her to wait a little. The woman asks if he's trying to challenge the authority of someone from the noble capital. The captain replies that she should be careful with her words because he still commands the ship. The scientist yells that his position can be easily replaced. He reminds her that she can be arrested if she continues being so aggressive. Kisaragi becomes even more agitated with Samuel Yu's words. Our protagonist just observes all this chaos. He realizes that the conflict already existed even before he arrived there. The woman then decides to leave the command bridge. She walks away very upset, accompanied by 2 guards. She says she'll be back soon, just going to the bathroom. One of the guards comments to the other that they could also take the chance to go to the bathroom. The monster realizes this is the perfect chance to attack the woman. He starts moving through the ducts, heading to where Kisaragi is. It's a great opportunity for an ambush. The player knows he needs to take advantage of this situation. After all, the scientist is alone in the bathroom. The creature opens the ventilation duct grate. The woman is washing her face at the sink. The alien positions himself on the wall right behind her. He prepares the venom at the tip of the stinger on his tail. Now our protagonist positions himself right above Kisaragi. She finishes washing her face. She starts looking at herself in the mirror. Suddenly, something catches her attention. The woman quickly turns around to see what's happening. We see the player jumping on her to attack. Kisaragi lets out a scream of fright. She manages to dodge the attack. Because of that, the alien ends up falling to the floor. But he doesn't waste time and goes in for another attack. This time, he hits the woman with his stinger. The paralyzing venom causes her intense pain. She even starts foaming at the mouth. Kisaragi falls to her knees from the pain. Soon after, she collapses to the floor. She becomes completely paralyzed and stunned by the venom. The protagonist prepares to finish his mission. He wonders what emotion she is feeling now. Is it anger at the situation or fear of death? The monster knows that no longer matters. The player is sure he has obtained a powerful gene for evolution. At this moment, the game asks if he wants to evolve. He is happy because he finally reached his big goal. Of course he will accept to evolve his creature. Suddenly, danger images appear in his mind. The creature wonders what's happening. He concludes it might be because of the predator instincts ability. It seems his instincts are warning that the guards will arrive soon, so he needs to get out of there as soon as possible. The alien starts running to escape the area. One of the guards enters the bathroom. He sees something that shocks him. His expression shows he is terrified. The guard realizes that the chief scientist is dead. He wonders how that happened. The protagonist takes the opportunity to jump on his back. He prepares the stinger and attacks. The strike hits the soldier's helmet directly. The threat is eliminated. The small monster has now made his first 2 human victims. He knows he must act fast to get out of there. Back at his nest, he starts using his hypersenses. The scan shows that he is alone. It's time to evolve. Slowly, a reddish slime covers his body. Soon, he is completely wrapped in a large cocoon. The player wonders if this feeling is similar to being born. He tries to open his eyes but can't. Since entering the cocoon, he lost control of his body. Now, all that's left is to wait for evolution. After a while, the cocoon begins to crack. From it, a bluish, different creature emerges. The monster is finally out of the cocoon. He lets out an euphoric scream to celebrate the evolution. The ship's captain asks if the chief of medicine has discovered the cause of death. The man says the scientist was attacked at the neck. Maybe she was injured by a small saw. The captain asks if an autopsy will really be necessary. The chief medical officer wants to know what the captain intends to do now. Samuel Yu says he doesn't know what to do in this situation. He asks the head of security about the search for the criminal. The head of security replies that they are interrogating the main suspect. The captain asks if he thinks the guard was responsible. The head of security says they haven't reached a conclusion yet. Samuel Yu gets nervous with that answer. So he asks another question. The captain wants to know if those chiefs know what happened recently. He recalls that a promising talent had their brain removed for disobeying the head of research. The man wonders what the punishment will be for letting that woman die. Upon hearing this, all the team chiefs are shocked. One of them suggests saying she had an accident during an experiment. Another chief says he should think before saying nonsense. The engineering chief suggests saying she died from spoiled food. Someone scolds him for talking such nonsense. The 4 team chiefs start arguing with each other. A man orders everyone to be quiet. He says this commotion only makes the situation worse. That attitude leaves the chiefs speechless. This man suggests to the captain that they stop at the nearest planet. Samuel Yu reminds him that place is Space Dog territory. The man suggests the captain use this situation to his advantage. The commander starts to reflect on the idea. He remembers that space dogs are pirates and enemies of the Megacorp. That group is made up of war veterans who turned into outlaws. The captain knows that a possible battle would generate some accidents. He sees this as a chance to cover up the death of the head of research. Samuel Yu says the plan is good, but the ship is not prepared for a fight. The man who suggested the idea says he has a contact inside that group. The captain gets a little irritated upon hearing that, and gets even more irritated to find out he'll have to pay 10 million to the pirates. The man standing says this situation is a risk for everyone there. Even so, the captain approves the plan. The chief medic asks what they should do with the bodies. Samuel Yu says they should keep the bodies until the meeting with the pirates. Meanwhile, we see that the alien protagonist has completed his evolution. At this moment, he reached a new stage of life. He knows that because of this, he will have to change strategy. Now he needs to hunt and survive, not just hide. The creature starts thinking about the next step. He realizes he only reached the first level of evolution. The player knows there are still more levels ahead, and that only at the final stage will all the secrets of the Amorph race be revealed. The protagonist remembers that reaching the final evolution of a race is very difficult. He knows he'll have to come up with the best strategy for that. At the current stage, he unlocked a new function in the game. Now, he can choose which type he wants to specialize in. The alien gets ready to see which types are available. As expected, physical enhancement is almost unlocked. He explains that, when a type is unlocked, related abilities become even stronger. The creature notices that a few points are still missing to unlock psychic enhancement. He remembers that he devoured all his victims. But he remembers something important. The monster remembers he couldn't fully devour Kisaragi's body. He knows he'll gain psychic abilities if he manages to do that. That's why he decides to search for the scientist's body. The protagonist realizes it will be a bit harder to move through the ducts after evolution. At that moment, he smells something strange. It's probably the smell of the dead victims. He approaches a containment grate. The creature finally finds what it was looking for. The place where the bodies are kept is right below him. A ship worker is listening to music, relaxed. He is sitting, looking at a panel in front of him. The man starts smelling something strong. He gets up to find out where the smell is coming from. Something he sees makes him nervous. The smell is coming from a hole covered with greenish slime. We see the alien preparing to attack the man. The worker realizes he needs to call the guards. At that moment, the monster jumps and attacks him. The creature lands a fatal blow to his head. The player goes to one of the bodies. He uses his claw to uncover the body. Finally found what he wanted there. The crew left the body well preserved. The alien grabs the dead scientist's head. He thinks that, even after doing something so brutal, he feels no guilt. Maybe that's because he turned into an amorph, but he knows thinking about it won't help now. What matters most at this moment is feeding. The monster says that, one way or another, those bodies became nutrients. We see he bit something hard. The creature opens its mouth and sees what it just bit. He realizes it's an electronic device that was on the woman's body. The player destroys the device for being useless to his mission. Suddenly, a game notification appears. He just acquired a new ability called Psionic Organ. The protagonist thinks that, because of his race, that new ability won't be very useful. Even so, he's excited to have unlocked a new ability. Out of nowhere, some mini tentacles appear on the back of his head. He finds it interesting how his body reacted to the new ability. The alien thinks maybe he can transform that ability later on. His next snack will be the guard who was with the scientist. While he's eating, something catches his attention. The creature realizes the guards are switching shifts. He notices one of the guards is wearing reinforced armor, and that could be a problem if any doctor changes shifts with the victim he made. It's very likely the crew will start suspecting there's a monster loose around. The player knows he's not strong enough yet to face the troops head-on. But then, an idea pops into his head. He believes he can use his corrosive acid as a distraction. The place he's in is full of chemicals that could help a lot. He starts remembering that Megacorp uses Earth as its headquarters, and that Kisaragi's family is located in East Asia. The Eugean family started as a small company in South Korea, but later became a powerhouse within the country. We see a house and a floating farm. Someone is using a tool to till the land. The one doing it is a middle-aged man. Two employees approach him. At that moment, the man stops what he's doing to talk to the two. He says he made them wait too long and asks them to come closer. The guard steps ahead of the butler. He says he has information about that man's daughter. Hearing this, the butler gets visibly nervous. With a smile on his face, the man asks what happened to his daughter. The guard says her transmitter was destroyed. The man says that must be a mistake, but the security officer says it happened near the territory of the space dogs. At that moment, the man puts his hand on the guard's shoulder, and out of nowhere attacks the guard with the farming tool. The guard falls immediately, all injured. The man slowly approaches the guard's body, and starts taking his life right there. Then, he throws away the farming tool. He asks other guards to clean up the mess, says he won't accept losing focus when the subject is important. The master comments he spent over 10 billion to genetically enhance his daughter, and wonders who would be crazy enough to pick a fight with his family. He asks the butler if he has any information about the ship's captain. The master believes the captain's family wouldn't dare face his house. He wants to know the butler's opinion, and the butler replies that he thinks the suspect is from TNCs. The old man is pleased to see that the butler thinks the same as he does. The master remembers that TNCs and Egerton are secretly allies. He points out that what happened to his daughter was probably a setup by those families. The butler agrees with everything the master says. The old man lets out a small laugh. But soon after, he gets serious. He asks the butler to inform the subordinates that it's time to act. The butler agrees and thinks this is going to turn into a war. The master demands that all the ship's crew members be brought to him as soon as possible. Everyone involved in what happened to his daughter deserves to die. Samuel Yu is completely shocked by all of this. He wonders how things got to this point. The captain asks one of the guards what happened. We see that somehow, the morgue caught fire. The chief doctor is examining one of the bodies. For a moment, an idea crosses his mind. He asks the assistant if all the bodies are there. The captain asks what he's thinking. The chief doctor asks for all the leaders to be summoned immediately. In the meeting room, Samuel Yu gets furious upon hearing that 2 bodies are missing. Precisely the bodies of the guard and the research leader. The chief doctor confirms that this information is correct. He says that even with all the chemicals in the area, it was almost impossible for the fire to have started on its own. That was probably caused on purpose. One of the leaders asks if it could have been caused by an alien. Right away, another leader retorts and yells that this idea is absurd. The security chief is surprised by the reaction of the supplies chief. Samuel Yu stands up and says they'll soon meet the pirates on planet CO8. So he orders the security chief to find the bodies immediately. The captain gets very irritated with the security chief's resistance. They yell saying they have much bigger problems to solve. The meeting room goes silent. The captain asks if the risk team leader has already contacted the pirates. The man asks them not to say anything about the missing bodies. He knows they must find the bodies before the meeting with the space dogs. At that moment, he asks the security chief if he understood the mission clearly. Samuel Yu says the culprit must be captured at any cost, and that he's giving full authority to the security chief to search every corner of the ship. Meanwhile, the alien protagonist is hiding, observing the whole meeting. He smiles, seeing that everything is going exactly as he planned. No one in their right mind would imagine that the fire was caused by an alien. All he needed to do was mix a few chemicals and drop a bit of his own blood. The monster caused the incident just to cover his tracks. But he was surprised when someone actually considered the alien theory. The creature notices the Risk team leader taking command in a meeting with the pirates. He knows he'll have to prepare for a possible battle. At that moment, he starts using his hypersenses. The alien is intrigued by how the supplies chief handled the conversation about aliens. He watches the man heading toward the container warehouse. The player decides to follow the guy to see what he can find out about him. What kind of secrets could this man be hiding in the containers? He activates his hypersenses again to find out where the man went. The creature notices a container that looks very different from the others. This makes the protagonist even more curious about what the supplies chief is hiding there. We see that the man is drunk and keeps drinking even more. One of the subordinates even asks him to stop drinking. But the guy keeps getting drunk, trying to feel alive. He wonders why he made such a bad decision as getting involved with the black market. Secretly, he loaded a container full of alien species eggs, but he ended up forgetting to close the container properly. The supplies chief knows he has to keep his mouth shut. The drunk says the real enemy is alcohol. The bartender gets annoyed when he asks for another drink. We see the man walking all crooked from drinking too much. He wonders where he should go at that moment. The guy seems pretty happy after getting drunk. Suddenly, something catches his attention. He turns around trying to see if someone is following him. The hallway behind him is completely empty. The team chief thinks maybe it was just his imagination. But then something starts giving him goosebumps. He turns again to see what's going on. This time he realizes that something is following him. That's when he starts to panic. So he runs down the hallway. He starts crying, desperate. He runs to type his room's password as fast as possible. The door barely finishes opening, and the supplies chief already jumps inside. In his rush, he trips on a bottle and falls to the floor. The drunk knows he needs to use the phone to call for help, but he starts hearing footsteps approaching. He turns around to see who's there. The room door is almost closed, but at that exact moment, the alien protagonist appears. Now he is face to face with the ship's supplies chief. For sure, this man is going to make a great meal for the monster. We see the creature rummaging through the victim's room. He notices that the man spent all his money on booze. The player thinks the captain should be grateful for the savings from the salary cut. The chief's room is a total mess. The monster is already tired of rummaging through so much filth. That's when he notices a poster of a woman hanging on the wall. The protagonist thinks that in his current state, he doesn't even feel desire for her. While rummaging through a notebook nearby, he finally finds the identification card. Now he has everything he needs to open the secret container. The creature concludes that it needs to clean up a bit before leaving. He comments that the supply chief was delicious because of the alcohol in his blood. At that moment, the player heads toward the secret container. He inserts the identification card and uses a bit of help from the recent snack to complete the access. The container door begins to open very slowly. The alien enters the place, curious about the secrets hidden there. He soon realizes that the man was indeed a smuggler, but something inside the container catches his attention. Surprisingly, he finds eggs of his own species stored in a freezer, and he notices that one of the eggs is empty. The player wonders if his alien emerged from that egg. He concludes that the supply chief was trying to smuggle amorph eggs. In the game, amorphs always start their journey in an ancient ruin. The protagonist understands that it was there that his story as an alien began, and that's why he found the cockroaches so tasty. He takes a moment of silence in honor of the alien that came before him. After that, he puts his new plan into action. The monster begins to eat all the eggs of his species. He knows he will need more food to unlock a new ability, and that place is perfect for that. Now he's just 2 abilities away from unlocking the physical upgrade. He even felt a bit disappointed with the ability he gained from eating the research chief. But he's truly thankful for the benefits from the supply chief. The player knows he needs more abilities to become even more aggressive on the journey. Now he needs to grow stronger before the confrontation with the pirates. The protagonist knows that if he manages that, no one in the universe will hear the cries for help from his victims. We see the hangar of Megacorp's massive research ship. A man comments to his coworker that it's already time for dinner, but the other replies that he still has a job to finish. Several employees are in the cafeteria having dinner. One of the mechanics asks his colleague why they need to refurbish the battleships. The other scolds him for talking about work during dinner, but the man insists, saying it must be the fault of the metal gremlins. The mechanic tells his colleague he thinks the metal gremlins are already inside the ship. He comments that the strange smell must be because of those creatures. The colleague says that's nothing but nonsense and theories. Suddenly, a man with glasses appears next to them and says the supply chief has gone missing. The bearded mechanic asks why all the chiefs are so restless. The man with glasses replies that it's probably to avoid causing panic among the crew. He gets up annoyed, saying none of it makes sense to him. The mechanic colleague asks him to go easy on people. The bearded mechanic storms off, calling the two of them idiots. We see the mechanic who believes the theory's working on one of the battleships. He asks his colleague to bring him something to drink. Suddenly he hears his colleague calling him. The man replies that he can't leave because he's busy. He gets angry thinking the colleague is mocking him. He leaves the task, grumbling about the situation, but notices there's no one around. He asks why his colleague called then. Soon after, he hears his voice coming from the next room. The mechanic approaches to try and see where the colleague is. He asks why the lights in the room are off. Even suspicious, he ends up entering the dark room. While walking, he thinks his colleague is very noisy. Suddenly, he smells something strong and stops walking. He starts to get annoyed and asks where exactly his colleague is. Accidentally, he steps on a screw on the floor. Because of that, he falls. He holds his head because of the bump. At that moment, something catches his attention. He notices the room is too dark, even using a flashlight. Fear begins to take over, as he remembers the reports he has heard. A silhouette appears behind him, and he asks if it's his colleague. He hears a voice calling, and wonders if it's really him. We see the protagonist monster grabbing the mechanic's face. The creature is all happy to have found a new snack. The player comments that the voice mimicking ability is really useful. Meanwhile, the bearded mechanic returns with drinks for his colleague, but is confused not to find anyone at the workstation. He finds it strange because his colleague never leaves things unfinished. Suddenly, he hears his friend's voice calling him. The bearded mechanic asks why the colleague is back in the repair area again. He also asks why all the lights are off. Then he enters the room to help his friend. Cameron asks what Scott is doing there. He sees that the colleague's flashlight is on the floor. Out of nowhere, something falls on his back. He touches his neck to see what it was. He is shocked to realize it's a red liquid. Cameron looks ahead, trying to understand what's happening, and we see that the protagonist alien is also going to turn this man into food. The protagonist wonders if he has some talent for fishing. Comments that the voice mimicry ability is indeed very useful. Of all the eggs he ate in the container, one of them was from a creature with this ability. This creature was known as the red worm, and used mimicry to lure prey. The player knows his ability is weaker than that of the red worms. He can only mimic the voice of the last creature he devoured. The monster thinks that tomorrow he should eat someone from the kitchen crew. He walks away licking his fingers after enjoying the two snacks. Then he wonders how the pink amoeba is doing. He thinks calling the creature an amoeba isn't ideal, so he decides to call it number 26. The alien wonders if he should stop by the research lab to check on number 26. Suddenly he receives a contact from the pink amoeba. With that, he realizes he can communicate with the creatures using brainwaves. At that moment, he understands the true function of the ability called psychic organ. Creature number 26 asks him to bring food. The protagonist is surprised by the creature's vocabulary, which has improved a lot. He replies that it will be hard to bring food now, says that at that moment he can't do that. That's because something happened to the research chief. The security chief increased the number of guards in the lab. For that reason, he hasn't been able to feed the friend in the last few days. The monster says goodbye to the pink amoeba. He thinks the friend will have to hold on a bit longer, believes he could help without any problem if he had already evolved to his next form. But for that, he needs to eat 10 members of 2 different intelligent species. The problem is that, on the ship, there are only humans, and the pirates will take time to arrive. Suddenly, something catches his attention, and he activates his hypersenses. He starts to hear the conversation of the risk team leader. The protagonist wonders who that guy must be talking to. Something in the conversation draws the man's attention. He says he could never question a direct order from his house. The risk team leader states that everything will go according to plan. The alien is shocked by what he's hearing. The man reinforces that all his actions are to fulfill the will of his master. We see him walking toward a different place. Our protagonist starts to reflect on everything he's discovered so far. The captain is very angry about how the security leader is handling the situation. He remembers there are only 2 days left until the encounter with the pirates. The security leader replies that he's doing everything he can to find the culprit. At that moment, Samuel Yu asks how many people are missing. The captain becomes furious upon learning that, even with 8 missing, no suspect has been found. The protagonist, spying through the duct, chuckles, knowing it's all his fault. Suddenly, the risk team leader says he agrees with the security leader's theory. He acknowledges that the security leader did everything he could. This conversation only makes the captain even angrier with the situation. But the risk team leader says something that surprises Samuel Yu. He comments that it would be impossible for someone to hide for so long. He also says that maybe they are being attacked by an unknown entity. Then another leader says the ship's AI would have already detected that kind of threat, but the risk team leader replies that he knows the ship's AI limitations very well. He recalls that all compartments in the secret container were empty, and asks, where did all that go? We realize the alien protagonist is getting tense with the direction of the conversation. At that moment, the captain asks where the creature might be hiding. The risk team leader says there's still one place they haven't checked. He points to the ventilation ducts. He remembers those ducts run throughout the ship, and there's plenty of space for a creature to hide there. He also comments that metallic gremlins could easily move through them. At that moment, the player realizes he should have dealt with that man earlier. Arnold suggests capturing the creature and taking it to the noble capital, and that now their only option is to fight the pirates. He insists they must deal with the creature before it's too late. Samuel Yu asks how many soldiers will be needed, and Arnold replies that 6 squads will be enough. We see the player running desperately through the ducks. He realizes the situation has become a point of no return. And considering how Arnold thinks, the ducks will no longer serve as a refuge. The creature understands it's time to make an important decision. He wonders, flee or fight? The alien begins to recall everything he heard in the meeting room. Our protagonist gets filled with rage, remembering that the Risk Team leader ruined his plans. The monster gets increasingly outraged at the thought of being captured by the humans. He knows his race was born to hunt, not to be hunted, so he decides he will fight them. The creature is going to show those humans how a true predator hunts. He's going to turn that ship into a true hell. The protagonist starts using his hypersenses in a way he never tried before. That way he'll be able to scan every corner of the ship. He'll locate and map the movement of all enemies. It's like he's a parasite moving through that giant ship. At that moment, he detects that the captain and the leaders are gathered on the command bridge. Groups of soldiers begin to move in search of the monster. The main part of the plan is already ready, and the details are being adjusted as necessary. The protagonist knows it's time to act. We see Team A searching through some ducks. An operator coordinates the soldiers' movements. All the leaders are monitoring the hunting operation. Arnold thinks killing Kisaragi was a task that should have been his. The plan stays firm, just needs to eliminate the variables. He believes the creature will be eliminated today. The search teams report their positions. One of the soldiers says he'll take a quick break to adjust his equipment. The head of the risk team asks everyone to stay alert. At that moment, something catches Arnold's attention. He asks the operator to check what happened with soldier B3. The operator contacts the soldier. The command bridge asks B3 to report his position. It seems it was just the break he had already mentioned before. Even so, the operator sends B2 to B3's position. B2 heads to the last reported point of his colleague. The soldier is almost at the place where B3 was. When he finally arrives, he lets out a scream that scares everyone on the command bridge. He says he found what they were looking for. Hearing this makes the head of the risk team nervous. The operator asks the soldiers to report the situation. Their body cameras shut down. It all happened so suddenly that no one can confirm what occurred. Because of that, 2 of the leaders ask over the communicator what's going on. Arnold still doesn't believe everything that's happening. He gets nervous thinking that soldiers like those are being taken out so easily. The man ended up underestimating the creature's abilities. So he asks the operator to order all soldiers to shoot if they see anything. The command bridge tells soldier B3 to join B1 and search for B2. The operator warns the soldier not to go searching for his partner alone. The head of the risk team fears the situation is starting to get out of control. We see B3 heading toward B1. Soldier B1 says he heard a sound coming in his direction and asks what it could be. He says he can't quite identify what's approaching. B1 confirms that the sound came from B3. Hearing this makes everyone on the command bridge more relaxed. But suddenly, something happens to the soldier. He says his partner was captured by the enemy. Arnold decides to act. He grabs the operator's headset and asks the soldier to report the situation in detail. The man gets nervous with the poor response he receives. The shouting makes the whole command bridge tense. The head of the risk team throws the headset on the ground. He asks himself how the soldiers can't see anything being so close. Arnold wonders why neither B1 nor B3 are showing up on the cameras. But something catches his attention at that moment. He picks up the headset he threw on the floor, puts the device back to his ear. Arnold asks soldier B1 to state his name and rank. The head of the risk team repeats the order, asking for name and rank. At that moment, the alien surprises him, congratulating him for understanding the situation. The creature breaks one of the soldiers' cameras. This shocks 2 team leaders. They can't believe what they just saw. Arnold asks soldier A1 to report the situation. He gets furious at the delayed response. We see the moment the protagonist broke the camera with his claw. Experiment number 26 gives a valuable tip to the player. This tip helped to create a failure in soldier B3's communication. The creature took advantage of the soldier's break and paralyzed him with poison. At that moment, it got another little snack to fill its belly. After enjoying himself, he uses hypersenses to locate Team A. He needed to find them in that vast duck network. The player finds them and notices they are on high alert. The soldiers are acting according to the orders they received. Team A must be alert after hearing the alien mimic human voices. The monster wonders if he can use this information to his advantage. He positions himself at a junction where Team A should pass through. The creature remembers people say knowledge is power, but he knows that too much knowledge can be dangerous sometimes. We see a Team A soldier walking through the ducks. Soldier A1 informs the command bridge he's entering the junction ahead. Arnold orders them to shoot immediately if they hear human voices. At that exact moment, they hear a voice and get ready to fire. The soldiers begin shooting in the direction of the voice. The shots nearly hit our protagonist. Team A's leader orders a ceasefire. The command room asks for confirmation on the enemy's status. The bridge operator tells A2 and A3 to wait for A1's return. The creature takes the opportunity to attack one of the soldiers. Team A's leader turns and sees something that scares him. A1 realizes his partner was captured by the creature. The soldier alerts the command bridge that A3 is being held hostage. Without thinking, the command bridge orders them to open fire on the creature. A1 and A2 comply, forcing the player to flee to avoid being hit. Some shots hit the alien's carapace. Even so, the monster manages to escape the gunfire. At that moment, Soldier A2 reports a casualty in the operation. Soldier A3 is completely incapacitated by the poison. The other two comrades begin applying shock treatment. One soldier performs the procedure through a display on his partner's armor. Soon, Soldier A3 feels a bit of relief. Team A's leader says they will return to the creature hunt mission. He promises he will completely destroy the creature once he finds it. Soldier A2 comments that, although the monster was wounded in the shootout, they didn't get any relevant information. The soldiers continue the search for the monster. One of them says they need to move forward, even with the tight ducks. Soldier A1 asks permission to use a body enhancement supplement. The command bridge authorizes the use of the supplement. Team A's leader injects himself with the supplement. He starts to feel the effects in his body. The enhancement makes both soldiers determined to finish off the creature. The duo keeps walking through the ducts. One of them finds a hole made by the alien's acidic blood. He goes to investigate the opening. At that moment, he informs the command bridge that they found a large hole in the ducts. The enemy seems to have gone to the corridor below. The soldiers say they'll search the corridor to try to find the exact location. Suddenly, the creature appears near the soldiers. One of them turns around, startled by the noise. He starts shooting at the monster. The alien approaches the soldier. The creature grabs the soldier by the helmet. The protagonist delivers a fatal blow to him. The man falls to the floor of the duct. His companion gets furious with what happened, so he starts shooting at the creature. The alien tries to strike the soldier with its stinger, but the man manages to dodge with his hand. He goes for a melee attack. The soldier is determined to finish the monster. The protagonist manages to dodge the soldier's punch. At that moment, the alien starts to flee. The amorph escapes through a duct entrance. The remaining soldier gets very angry. The creature keeps fleeing through the ventilation ducts. He thinks those soldiers were stronger than he expected. The player realizes he'll need to change the attack strategy. The alien knows he won't be able to use tricks against Soldier A1, but remembers something that might help. There's still something he can use to lure Team A's leader. We see that Soldier A3 is still alive. He notices something that catches his attention. The soldier realizes his tormentor has returned to finish the job. The alien runs toward the man. All Soldier A3 can do is watch. The protagonist approaches the soldier's helmet. The creature knocks the man to the ground with its claw. The alien gives a tickle on the soldier's back with its arm. Soldier A3 is finally finished off by our protagonist. The monster starts snack time again. He delights in the nutrients from that soldier. The creature decides he's eaten enough. Now the alien needs to make the humans believe the soldier was ambushed, so he destroys the soldier's helmet camera. The command bridge sees all of this. They inform Team A's leader that Soldier A3 was attacked by the creature. Soldier A1 runs to his companion. He looks very worried. Team A's leader arrives where he left Soldier A3. The man approaches to check the other soldier's condition. He starts applying shock treatment again. Suddenly, he's surprised by the alien. The creature injected paralyzing venom into his neck. Soldier A1 falls to the ground right after the blow. The protagonist begins to emerge from Soldier A3's armor. Seeing this terrifies Team A's leader. He realizes the creature posed as the wounded companion. The alien finally comes out of the soldier's armor. The man tries to crawl away to escape, but he's grabbed by the helmet. The creature rips off his helmet. The player tells the soldier he'll be a good snack. The soldier feels terrible pain. The creature rips off Soldier A1's head. This is just the beginning of a delicious meal. The victim's helmet keeps transmitting everything to the command bridge. Some of them start to get sick from the scene they're witnessing. Even Arnold gets quite scared by all of it. The protagonist wonders what the enemy's reaction will be. He believes they'll attack with everything they've got to eliminate him. The creature thinks the ship's weaponry could be a problem, especially if they have plasma weapons. The player remembers that plasma weapons are super destructive, but they're usually very large or expensive. At best, only one medium launcher is issued per squad at Megacorp. The protagonist wonders if the ship has such a weapon. At that moment, the alien sees something that catches his attention. Many soldiers are heading to the agricultural section. The creature knows this is the chance to change the game. Now it's time to take advantage of the soldiers being in the wrong place and attack their leadership. The monster arrives at the command bridge and hears an argument. Samuel Yu and Arnold argue intensely about who the creature is. The captain says that even with enhanced equipment, the result was a disaster. Our protagonist recalls that enhanced equipment can save lives in these situations. The Risk team leader says that despite everything, they achieved something. They discovered the creature mimics human voices. Arnold tells the captain that even the smallest piece of information could be the key to victory. He asks for authorization to use the plasma launcher from the armory. Two other leaders think this move is too risky. At that moment, the player gets the information he wanted. He knows this is the perfect chance to choose his prey right there. Now eliminating Arnold is the top priority, but he'll attack whoever is closest first. That man is one of the researchers who tortured his friend number 26. The player had already planned to kill him someday and sees that he'll do it now. The creature strikes the ventilation duct grate. Arnold hears the noise coming from above. The alien throws himself open-mouthed in the direction of the researcher. Our protagonist is ready to attack. He bites the researcher's face. Some leaders are completely shocked by the scene. The creature goes on the attack against everyone in the control room. It gives a little bite on the back of one of the men. It also tickles the back of one of the leaders. The protagonist starts running after everyone there. The operator asks the soldiers to return to the command room, but he is interrupted when the creature tells him to shut up. By then, the player has already made several victims in that place. The monster notices someone starting to shoot at him. He identifies it's Arnold. The player notices that the pistol he uses won't really hurt him, so he plans to attack Arnold right away. Suddenly, his predator instinct kicks in before the attack. He realizes that if he attacks now, it will be the end of him. The alien saw that Arnold has a plasma pistol. A shot to the head or chest and he's dead immediately. He concludes that Arnold has ties to the Eugean house. The Risk team leader notices something. He understands that the creature already figured out his plan. At that moment, he draws his plasma pistol. The captain and another leader are surprised by Arnold's expensive weapon. The Risk team leader comments that this life form looks promising. He says a monster with so many abilities would be useful to its master. Arnold starts firing the plasma weapon, so our protagonist tries to hide. The man comments he will eliminate any variables before the pirates arrive. The creature realizes the situation is getting dangerous, but knows that in this game only he will be the winner. The player comments that great predators are seen as symbols of courage, but really they always run away from great danger. The true nature of the hunter is knowing when to be cowardly. He remembers that prudence is essential to survive. At that moment, the alien uses hypersenses to analyze. He perceives that Arnold is calm, even amid all the confusion. That man is certainly an experienced hunter. The monster keeps fleeing. We see that the Risk team leader keeps firing. Our protagonist does his best to dodge the shots. Samuel Yu warns Arnold to be careful not to damage the command center. The man promises to be careful. The Risk team leader continues the chase. The monster keeps dodging the shots. This starts to annoy Arnold. The player thinks the last shot passed very close. At that moment, the Risk team leader calls all soldiers to the command bridge. The creature understands he is buying time for reinforcements to arrive. The alien concludes Arnold also protects the captain and team leaders. He admires Arnold's skill in deceiving others, but knows he needs to end the fight before reinforcements arrive. The monster grabs a fire extinguisher and thinks it might be useful. He pulls the safety pin from the extinguisher. Now the player prepares to put the plan into action. The creature sprays the extinguisher smoke toward the crew. Arnold is impressed with the monster's initiative. Still, he keeps firing to try to kill the threat. At that moment, the command bridge is filled with smoke. The Risk team leader complains to some soldiers there. Arnold gets tense, unable to find the creature. He orders everyone to protect Captain Samuel Yu. But our protagonist is already several steps ahead of Arnold's thinking. The alien attacks one of the people present. A subordinate asks the captain where he is, but another voice answers that the captain is in the opposite direction. The Risk team leader warns the subordinates to be alert to the distraction the alien is using. A voice is heard saying the creature killed one of the leaders. Another shouts that the damn monster is imitating the leader's voices. This leaves the subordinate completely lost. He hears an order to shoot and kill the creature immediately. He starts firing uncontrollably. The shot hits the arm of one of the crew. We see that the attack also hit Arnold, but Arnold notices something approaching from behind. At that moment, he starts firing his plasma pistol. One of the shots almost hits the protagonist. This makes the alien run toward the man. Something starts growing on the monster's back. The player opens his wings again. After a long time, he flies as fast as he can toward Arnold. The creature finally ends the cat and mouse game. He manages to eliminate his opponent efficiently. The protagonist starts walking calmly. The subordinate with the weapon asks if the one in front is the team leader. We see the monster calmly passing beside him. The man is terrified by what he sees. The creature shows that Arnold's gray matter will be his next meal. The player keeps walking very calmly. That man is completely paralyzed, overcome by fear. We see the alien return to the ventilation ducts. He knows he needs to get back to his nest quickly. Samuel Yu is very nervous about everything that happened. The captain complains to the soldiers for taking too long to reach the command bridge. He asks them to clean the place immediately. One of the doctors arrives and says all casualties have been identified. He informs that only the active research leader, Wei, managed to be saved. Samuel Yu is surprised by the news. The doctor explains that Wei suffered many body damages. Even if he survives, he will have to spend his life in a recovery tube. At that moment, the doctor suggests the captain surrender to the pirates. Samuel Yu is offended by the proposal. He asks the doctor to stop with the nonsense and do his job. The captain is shocked by so many losses. All the team leaders were killed, which already decreed defeat against the pirates. He wonders if he should abandon the crew and run away. But at that moment, a soldier finds Arnold's plasma pistol. Samuel Yu asks for it to be brought to him. The soldier hands the weapon to the captain. He notices the pistol still has 60% charge, useful for personal defense. He knows he can only trust himself now. The man wonders what to do in such a bad situation. The creature concludes it eliminated the people who represented danger to him. The player understands the captain won't be a threat at this moment either. Now it's time to expand the nest. He can choose 2 new locations to create nests. The first option is the cafeteria, to try to contaminate the ship's food. Another choice is the arsenal, because there is a weapon that could kill him there. The last option is the laboratory. Due to the large amount of genetic samples, he needs to decide well to prepare for the battle against the pirates. The protagonist decides to choose the cafeteria and the laboratory as the next nests. The creature thinks about the words Arnold said in the conversation. It's likely that that man's master will arrive with the pirates. He knows fighting an unknown enemy is worrisome. At that moment, the player hears number 26's voice. The alien notices his friend is in a good mood that day. He asks if he's happy for not feeling pain. He concludes it's because the crew is hiding in their rooms. The creature wonders if he should leave the ducks at that moment. Suddenly, something appears in front of the protagonist. He accidentally triggered the ship AI alarms. The player decides to wait and see what will happen. After 30 minutes, his theory is confirmed. Now he doesn't need to hide carefully anymore. He strikes the ceiling grate of the laboratory. Finally, the alien reunites with his friend number 26. The creature observes the amoeba's coloration and sees it's healthy. He wonders what to do so the friend doesn't starve. The alien thinks if the slime should stay in the nest or accompany him on the journey. The player asks number 26 if he wants to leave the tube. The pink amoeba is very happy to know it will leave the laboratory. At that moment, the monster asks the friend to be careful. He makes a quick dash toward the tube where number 26 is trapped. The protagonist manages to free the friend from captivity. The slime jumps for joy and thanks the alien for the rescue. The monster puts number 26 on the ground and asks him to wait. He says he will make a nest in that place. The creature starts shooting green slime. In a short time, the entire laboratory becomes a new nest. We see the slime spreading all over the room. The player concludes the laboratory became useless for the humans. After all the hard work, it's time for a good meal. The creature starts feasting on the living beings in the laboratory. Even friend number 26 takes the chance for a little snack. But something catches the protagonist's hypersenses. He notices some humans are heading to the laboratory. Apparently, a researcher and a soldier are arriving. They will be easy prey for him. The soldier and the researcher enter the laboratory. They are shocked by what they see. They wonder what happened there. Suddenly, the soldier feels something lurking. He quickly turns around. He starts shooting at the alien, but that doesn't work against the creature. The monster decides to tickle the soldier's belly. All that's left for him is to cry in pain. At that moment, the player makes another victim. Next on the list is the researcher who was with the soldier. He grabs the man's head firmly, but friend number 26 says something that intrigues the protagonist. The creature seems to understand the partner's message. The researcher was one of those who caused suffering to the pink amoeba. Therefore, friend number 26 has the right to end the researcher's shift. We see the man trembling and paralyzed by the monster's venom. It's time for him to face the consequences of his choices. The pink amoeba goes on the attack. Number 26 starts a big cosmetic procedure on the researcher's face. Our protagonist thinks how pathetic the end of these two men's careers was. But that doesn't matter anymore, since both ended up dying. Suddenly, a game notification appears to the player. He realizes he is a very lucky guy. He finally unlocked the requirements for the creature's physical enhancement. The player is happy to reach his goal. He wonders if he should unlock his type now, so he asks his friend to wait a bit, and agrees to unlock physical enhancement. His back starts getting stronger, and his legs also get bigger. His whole body evolved into a new phase. The pink amoeba is happy to see her friend got stronger. She jumps with joy from side to side. The monster says he just grew up. The pink creature asks if the alien became an adult, and keeps jumping with joy for her friend. The protagonist understands number 26's way of thinking, and will explain his evolution when the time is right. He feels his body became tougher and heavier. It feels like his body is covered with strong armor. His legs got stronger and thicker, and maybe he has new abilities to use. Some of his abilities became more powerful. However, his evolution came with a penalty. He will need to try even harder to evolve again. His type choice will help face the danger that is coming. Now is the time to test his new abilities. The strength of his tentacles was very weak, but now they're really strong because of the physical enhancement. Later, the monster tests his contaminating organ. He realizes his gooey liquid got stronger than before. This ability will be very useful in the battle against the pirates. The player and his amoeba friend start walking. The duo heads to the ship's hangar, and the monster will be able to understand the crew's reaction. Some people run away from the creature. A man shouts for his companions to hurry, and asks someone else to close the hangar door. But the person is too scared to do it, so the man kicks the person away, and manages to pull the lever to close the door. The door was almost closing, but the alien arrives and grabs the door, and uses all his strength to open the door again. He is ready to eat more people. The humans don't know what to do now. All they can do is feel fear and scream for help. The protagonist starts attacking everyone in the room. All they do is scream for help, but no one will hear them in the middle of space. We see a man with scars on his face. He asks why he doesn't hear the doctor's footsteps. His current situation is very bad, and death would be better than feeling so much pain. Something suddenly catches his attention. Maybe one of the soldiers had arrived there. But the man realizes that wasn't it. The one who had arrived there was the creature who attacked him. The monster presses a button on the keyboard, and the man asks what was going on. The pink amoeba enters the tube where the man is, and starts attacking the scientist's head. He feels like his head is burning, and asks for someone to help. The creature just keeps watching it. 3 hours later, the amoeba leaves the tube, and the alien asks if his friend finished eating. Also asks what was the taste of revenge, and number 26 says it tastes really good. The player realizes that the amoeba has simple feelings, and asks if his friend is going to turn into a big monster. The pink amoebas look like sea demons, because the person who made the game was too lazy to make different characters. Number 26 says he is satisfied, and the protagonist thinks he is tired from eating too much. The monster duo starts heading somewhere else. The alien gives a final check on his nest. He is determined with his mission, and starts walking in search of more food. We see 2 connected spaceships. A man grabs a woman's arm, and starts dragging her to his ship. Her husband begs them to let her go, but he gets hit by a shot. The space dogs invaded that man's ship, and they will steal everything and take the women as prisoners. This is how the Drava cartel usually acts. One of the pirates starts yelling at a prisoner, and so the prisoner begs for mercy. The gang leader thinks that's nonsense. Suddenly, the prisoner asks the boss a question. He's confused why the pirates betrayed his trust, but the leader calls that man a fool, and says they shouldn't have trusted strange creatures. The boss gets bored with all the man's talking, but suddenly the prisoner says something that makes the leader mad, so he starts standing up, and grabs a sword from one of the pirates. The boss says he will explain the mercenary's code to the man, and grabs the prisoner's head with great force. The creature explains that nobody there will be a criminal if no witnesses remain, and tells the man that none of them will survive. The prisoner asks if the boss is going to finish off everyone on the ship. The leader replies that he'll eliminate everyone from Megacorp. At that moment, the boss returns to his ship, and all his subordinates welcome him. The Great Lion asks for the mess to be cleaned up, and asks if they still need to do anything else that day. Also asks for Manhwa to be called. The boss realizes his pirates are a bunch of idiots. Suddenly, a pirate says Manhwa arrived. The woman asks why her boss had called her. The leader asks about a job she had mentioned. Manhwa says she can't talk to her contact anymore. But this makes the Great Lion very angry. He asks the woman to explain the situation. She explains that Captain Samuel Yu's ship asked for help with a body, and apparently the gang leader knows Samuel's family. So he asks whose body the pirates should get rid of. Manhwa replies that it's a woman from the Yujian family, and says they will pay 1 million credits to the space dogs. This information makes the Great Lion worried. He knows that the families from Earth are in conflict, and that some of them have been doing secret experiments in space. Maybe the body from the Yujian family has many genetic modifications, and that's why the boss should charge more for his work. This will be his chance to become very rich. The leader knows he must focus on his gang's business and not on revenge. He asks if someone might have ambushed Samuel Yu's ship, and says that whoever did that is very brave. The Great Lion tells his pirates to get ready, and also asks them to blow up the prisoner's ship. The space dogs leave with their ship, and place a big explosive on the prisoner's ship, which explodes and destroys the entire ship. Our protagonist feels something. It must be the pirates getting closer to the ship, so he uses the ability of the psychic organ. He notices the pirates are trying to enter the ship. The space dogs begin cutting through the ship's wall, and open a big hole after a while. They manage to invade the ship where our protagonist is. The pirates run toward the command room, but apparently they are very dumb and don't notice all the slime in the ship. All they know is how to steal and take people as hostages. But something surprises the space dogs. Now they notice that the ship is covered in green slime. So they inform the boss that something is wrong with that ship. Apparently there are only scary trees and no people on Captain Samuel Yu's ship. The Great Lion asks if his pirates are mocking him, and decides he will see if it's true with his own eyes. The alien finds out the pirate boss is a Hulk mutant with 2 hearts. In the space dogs group there are insect men, and also cyborgs from the Star Union. Now it will be easier to get his next evolution. The monster notices something strange. That woman seems to be a normal person, but she must be hiding a big secret, and that's why the player will keep an eye on her. The monster tells the amoeba it's time to go somewhere else, and asks number 26 to watch the plasma weapon. He explains that it's something very important. The protagonist is going to destroy the pirate's ship energy source. They are too distracted and won't notice his attack, and when the space dogs realize, it will be time to eliminate them. The creature uses its claws to try to open the door, and succeeds because of its great physical strength. He begins walking inside the pirate's ship, and notices they don't have a good security system. The space dogs would never think they'd get robbed in space. The player is looking for the ship's energy reactor. All he needs to do is get past the security androids. He wonders how he will get past them, and at the same moment thinks of a good idea to solve his problem. Now it's time to eat a little more. The monster runs very fast through the ship's hallway, but suddenly stops running. Someone is approaching the place where he is. It's two pirates who patrol the ship. The human walks without noticing the creature beside him, and the alien takes advantage of this situation to attack. He eliminated the man with just one hit. This makes the insect very scared, so the pirate tries to ask for help on the radio, but the creature grabs his arm with the tentacle and rips the insect's arm off his body. This makes the radio fall to the floor. It also leaves the insect man in a lot of pain. The protagonist headbutts the pirate's belly and starts pulling very hard on other parts of the insect's body, even grabbing the insect soldier's head. This makes the insect man cry from the pain. The player starts eating that insect, but it doesn't help much in his evolution. Someone on the radio asks what is going on, and the alien replies that it's nothing serious. He even apologizes for taking too long to answer. The creature opens another door of the ship using its great strength. Knowing he won't need to fight the androids, the protagonist finally finds the place he was looking for and starts throwing his green slime all over the floor of that room. He managed to make a big hole using his acid, and the androids didn't notice what was happening. The monster is going to damage the pirate's ship engine. We see some wounded people asking when help will arrive. Also, many there start going crazy because of fear. The ship's recordings make the pirates very scared. They are completely shocked by what they are seeing. The pirate boss gets very scared because of the recordings and starts to understand why that ship seems so empty. He asks his men to find out more about the creature. However, the recordings only showed injured or insane people. This makes the Hulk mutant very worried. So he asks his pirates to look for an older recording. The pirates find the recording from before the monster's attack, and the boss realizes that one of the men there is Captain Samuel. He believes that something wrong must have been happening, and suddenly something in the recording catches his attention. It was a moment when the alien attacked those people. He realizes that the monster is quite intelligent, and believes the creature is very dangerous as well. Now he needs to worry about finding the body from the Eugean family. So he calls Manhwa to help, but she is very surprised by everything she saw in the recordings. Suddenly the boss shouts the woman's name, and asks what day she lost contact with Samuel's ship. She says the two ships were supposed to meet the day before. The boss is worried because he doesn't know much about that monster, but believes the creature hasn't noticed that the pirates arrived, so he sends his men to find and eliminate the monster. But suddenly a pirate tells him that something went wrong. The great lion asks the soldier what the problem was, and gets annoyed when he learns that the engine of his ship broke. This makes the Hulk mutant very angry. The soldier explains that the engine was completely melted and couldn't be fixed. At that moment, the boss gets even more furious at the creature, and swears he will eliminate that alien at any cost. Even Manhwa gets scared of her boss. He shouts the woman's name again, and asks her to take command of the ship. Manhwa's answer makes the Hulk mutant very irritated, but she says she will be able to do what he asked. Then the boss tells 3 men to help the scientist. We see the protagonist use his hypersense to check the situation. He's glad to know that the pirate boss is angry, and remembers that there are still people hiding on that ship. The people who are hiding will fight against the pirates, and the alien will take advantage of this situation. He notices there are 3 pirates and the strange woman in the control room. His instinct is warning him that Manhwa is very dangerous. She might be Arnold's master. Maybe that woman is a genetically modified human, and it's likely that her modifications are very advanced. The protagonist understands it will be hard to defeat Manhwa. Knowing he'll fight a strong opponent makes the creature excited. Some pirates walk around the ship with their boss. The great lion seems very irritated, and this makes his soldiers very afraid of him. Suddenly one of the pirates finds something interesting. He tells the Hulk mutant that he found something. It was humans who were hiding on the ship. The soldier asks for permission to open the path to the people, and this makes his boss very annoyed. He asks the pirate if everything he does needs permission, and orders his soldiers to start cutting a hole in the wall. The pirates finish cutting the wall, and kick it to open the hole. One of the soldiers looks at the tracker in his hand, but gets hit directly in the head by a shot. The pirates realize that those humans are armed. The boss tells his soldiers to get out of the way, and starts running toward the humans. He attacks those people with his cannon, and also lands powerful punches on the humans. The Hulk mutant eliminates many people who were in that room. Even one of the guards screams and cries because of the pain. The pirate boss is grabbing that guard and throws his lifeless body next to a man. That man screams that he will surrender to the pirates, but the great lion says the pirates don't accept surrender. However, the man says he will help the pirates because he is a doctor. At that moment, the pirate boss asks where the captain is, and the man replies that Captain Samuel ran away. The doctor says he doesn't know if the captain managed to escape. This makes the Hulk mutant worried, because only Samuel will know where the body is. But at that moment, the pirate boss has a different idea, and he asks the doctor where the Eugean family's body is. The man replies that the monster had taken the body, and that the creature ate humans. The great lion understands he'll need to hurry, and tells his soldiers to search for the body throughout the ship. He tells the human that the pirates need a doctor, and asks if that doctor knows how to make genetic changes. The man replies that he knows that subject very well. The alien is disappointed that the battle between humans and pirates was quick, but he understands that it was because of the Hulk mutant, the leader of the pirates. Now the pirates are walking around the ship in groups of 6 soldiers, and he knows he will also need to start moving. The player asks the amoeba to wait for him in that place, but number 26 insists on wanting to help his friend. The monster understands that the pink amoeba could be helpful, so he grabs number 26 with his claw and puts his friend on his shoulder, warning that it will be dangerous. The duo starts walking through the ship once again. They head in the direction of the ship's weapon storage. An insect soldier asks what kind of monster grows plants in a ship. Another pirate says they need to clean the wall to be able to cut it. A blue soldier uses his sword to cut the plant on the wall, and this makes green slime fall on another pirate. He laughs at what happened to his companion, but the soldier is not happy about the green slime falling on his body. Suddenly something starts to happen to the pirate's sword. It begins to melt for some reason, and the others are surprised to see their companion. They notice his face started to melt. This makes all the soldiers very scared. The blue soldier realizes that something is happening. Suddenly the alien appears and attacks that pirate. The other soldiers are surprised by what happened, and they start shooting at that creature. However, their shots don't even tickle the alien. At that moment, the protagonist runs toward the pirates and starts attacking those soldiers. Even the pink amoeba attacks the insect soldier. This makes the monster chuckle a little, but something catches his attention. One of the pirates is asking for help. The creature uses its mouth to attack the pirate's head. At that moment, other pirates on the radio ask what is happening. The player responds that nothing wrong is happening, and apologizes for saying something he shouldn't have. The creature realizes it will be very useful to use the radio as a distraction. He notices that the soldier he attacked last is a cyborg, and remembers that the Star Union replaces human parts with machines. They do that even against the person's will. The monster understands that Megacorp and the Star Union are crazy. He wonders if it will be safe to eat part machine. The creature comments that the taste of that cyborg is quite interesting, and suddenly a notification appears in front of him. He realizes that cyborgs will help in his next evolution, and that he will need to eat 9 more cyborgs to evolve. Number 26 asks why his friend is so excited. The protagonist knows those pirates are a gift for his evolution. A soldier fires his weapon at the creature, but is grabbed by the head and arm. The monster uses its strength to eliminate that soldier, and looks at the pirate's head in his claw. He notices he already eliminated 2 teams of soldiers, but lost 3 cyborgs in those battles. Apparently half a cyborg was left after the battle, and it was better to eat just half as a precaution. And that's what the alien started doing. But apparently it didn't work as he expected. He understands that to evolve, he needs to eat a body he himself eliminated. So he attacks with the stinger on his tail, and eliminates one of the pirates who was lying on the ground. The player tells number 26 he needs to eat soldiers like that, and that his amoeba friend can eat all the others. He knows he needs to do this to evolve. Suddenly some voices come from the radio on the cyborg's arm. The monster says he is checking the weapon storage. On the other radio, some pirates ask about the laboratory situation, and the creature answers that everything is fine there too. He makes up an excuse for answering the radio like that, and is impressed by how irritating that pirate boss is. At that moment, the player looks at his pink amoeba friend, and remembers that his alien race usually acts alone. Even so, he is excited to continue his journey. The great lion realizes something strange is happening. He knows the pirates wouldn't make such a big mistake. His animal instincts warn him that this must be a trap. For this reason, he asks all soldiers to go to the laboratory, and asks the doctor where the engine room of that ship is. The Hulk mutant is still very angry about his ship. He thinks about planting a bomb in Samuel's ship engine, and will blow up that ship to defeat the monster, even if that kills some of his pirates. The boss will only save Manuel and the human doctor. At that moment, he calls the doctor, and asks what is the weakness of the monster they are facing. He gets annoyed when the doctor replies that the monster has no weaknesses. Even one of his soldiers gets angry with the answer. But the great lion starts thinking about the doctor's answer, and understands the doctor must be very afraid of the monster. So the boss asks what the monster's characteristic is, and the doctor replies that the creature attacked all humans like a ghost. The Hulk mutant gets irritated with the doctor's stupid answer, but the doctor replies that the creature managed to avoid all security and kill the people. At that moment, the great lion understands the creature's strength, and that's why he will change the search plans. He orders his men to join him before going to the laboratory. The monster notices his imitation didn't fool the pirate boss, but he already has a backup plan for this situation. He notices the pirates are starting to move, and so he will need to attack differently. At that moment, he connects to all the trees inside the ship. This move is called the nest maneuver. He will be able to sense every corner of the ship, as if all places there were part of him, and with this, his plan will start happening. Something starts to catch the soldiers' attention. A black smoke begins to come from those trees. This makes all the soldiers start feeling sick, and finally they fall unconscious to the floor. The protagonist knows he will be able to use this ability better when he evolves, and so he got very tired at that moment. He got very hungry after using so much energy. The creature reaches the place where the pirates passed out, and starts eating them to kill his hunger. He notices some pirates ran away from there, but that was better, because he wouldn't need to fight. The pink amoeba is happy to be able to eat the pirates with her friend. At that moment, the alien checks how many cyborgs he needs to evolve, and realizes he's very close to evolving to a new phase. 5 soldiers had escaped his trap, and fled to the training room. Maybe they went there because it is a very big room. But they weren't the first pirates to have that idea. The alien had already eliminated another team of soldiers in that place, and seeing that shocked those mercenaries a lot. The player warns number 26 that it's going to get dangerous, and starts opening the door of that room with his claws. He runs toward the pirates to attack them. Because of that, those soldiers start shooting at the creature. But the soldiers' gunshots don't even tickle him, and he asks why his shots aren't working. At that moment, the pirate pulls out another weapon to attack. This weapon looks a lot like a Star Wars lightsaber. The soldier tells the alien that he is second in command of the pirates, and challenges the protagonist to face him in a battle. The creature realizes that weapon can damage his shell, but that soldier won't be able to use the blade well. He knows pirates always do things without thinking. The pirate tries to attack the alien with his blade, but the protagonist manages to dodge the attack, and makes his counterattack, hitting the soldier's belly. The mercenary falls to the ground still holding his blade, and the player realizes he is a very persistent guy. He will end this fight before that pirate feels more pain. Because of that, he removes the mercenary's head from his body. There are still 4 pirates left to be eliminated, but suddenly, a game notification appears in front of him, and he wonders what must be happening. The game shows he can unlock a new skill called Human Nature. He thinks that skill seems very simple, and asks if he should accept this new skill. The player knows he has many skills to use, but not all are good. An example is the Hulk Mutant's Fury, which greatly increases strength, but he can't control it. Sometimes a skill can have more disadvantages than advantages. And in this universe, only good choices help survival. He knows the Star Union turns people into robots, and Megacorp creates genetically modified monsters. The creature asks what human trait he could gain, and knows gaining human emotions will be very bad for the evolution. Because of that, he prefers not to accept the new skill. But suddenly, his instinct gives a warning. Maybe it's better to accept that skill. His instincts never made him make a bad decision. Because of that, he ends up accepting the new skill. Suddenly, a strong light appears in front of him. But nothing seems to have changed in his body. Maybe the protagonist starts feeling guilt. Now only 3 skills are left to unlock the superpower upgrade. He will check the details of his new skill, and realizes it may be neither good nor bad. But his goal now is to unlock a new upgrade. The pink amoeba asks why the protagonist was not moving, and the monster thinks he should be the one worried. He grabs the pirate soldier's sonic blade. Now it's time to go after the pirates who are hiding. We see one of them is very scared even holding his weapon, and asks if he will be the creature's next victim. The pirate starts thinking why all this is happening, but realizes something is happening outside. He begins trembling a lot and getting scared, and prays that his boss can help him. The protagonist is looking for the place where that pirate is hiding, but seems to have given up searching in that room. The mercenary is relieved when he realizes the monster left, and thinks he will run away when this is all over. He will hide on a Star Union planet. But something suddenly happens. The monster hits his belly with a very strong blow, and starts opening a hole with his claws. The player managed to find the hidden soldier. Now it's time to eat another pirate. He throws away some pieces of that cyborg, and says no one will be able to hide from him. One more cyborg is needed to evolve, but the last cyborg is with that strange woman. Maybe it's better to eliminate the pirate leader first. Suddenly, his predator instinct gives a warning, and the alien manages to dodge the great lion's shot. He was almost hit by the Hulk mutant's fire. The pirate boss is very angry because the monster eliminated many of his soldiers. The protagonist is happy because his opponent is already in front of him. He will gain many useful skills when he devours the great lion, and realizes even one of the ship's doctors sided with the pirates. But at the end of the day, they will all be devoured. The protagonist tells his friend number 26 to hide, and tells him not to worry about him. The pink amoeba hops down the ship corridor, and camouflages on the wall near the trees. Number 26 tells his alien friend to be careful. The creature is surprised by the pirate boss's size, and realizes the Hulk mutant is over 3 meters tall. Now it's time to start the battle against that strong opponent. The pirates in the command room are watching everything. One wanted to go help the boss, but must obey and stay there. The cyborg pirate asks Manhwa if it will still take long. She explains the ship's system is very old. Because of that, it's not easy to find the information they want. The soldier asks her to hurry so they can help the boss. The woman starts revealing her true intentions. She understands that creature managed to hide very well, and realizes that monster is very intelligent. Manhwa sees that alien can use many skills, and maybe he can evolve just like her. She realizes the Hulk mutant will have no chance to win, and remembers she used the great lion like a doll in her hands. It will be very good when the pirate boss is defeated, and now is the moment to put her plan into action. The pirates ask if Manhwa finished what she needed to do, but she does something that leaves the soldiers confused. The woman takes her glasses off her face. A large blade suddenly starts coming out of her arm. Manhwa finally fully revealed her true goal. She will eliminate everyone who stands in her way. The Hulk mutant runs after the alien and tries to land a powerful hit on the creature. The player manages to dodge the attack and also tries to attack the pirate boss, but the big guy manages to protect himself and lets out a powerful roar to try to scare the alien. He throws a grenade toward the protagonist, which explodes and makes the monster feel a lot of pain. That explosion affected the alien's superpowered organ. The pirate boss placed the grenade without the creature noticing. Maybe he thought the monster was some kind of android. The Hulk mutant realizes his enemy wasn't created by the Star Union and asks if the creature understands what he just said. At that moment, the Great Lion shows a button on his neck, and the protagonist understands that it is a button that will activate the Hulk mutant's fury. The pirate boss warns that if he is eliminated, a bomb will explode the whole ship. If he dies, everyone will die with him. The player uses his hypersenses to analyze the situation and realizes what the Great Lion said is true. He thought the pirate boss cared more about his own life, but maybe he still wants to live. At that moment, the Great Lion presses the button and starts entering rage mode. His body starts getting bigger than before. The pirate boss became a strong monster. He starts letting out a powerful roar, and the alien realizes the Hulk mutant became very ugly. At that moment, the Great Lion starts his attack. He runs toward the protagonist and tries to attack using his powerful claws. The creature dodges the attack by lowering his head and tries to counterattack using the stinger on his tail. But he stops for a moment because he remembers the bomb on the ship. The pirate boss takes advantage of the situation and punches the player's head. He pauses for a moment and stares at the alien, who also stares back at the furious Hulk mutant. The creature tries to run somewhere else, but the Great Lion blocks the monster's path. He prevents the creature from escaping the battle. The protagonist starts thinking about what the pirate boss's plan might be, and realizes his opponent wants to play dirty. The Hulk mutant says the alien's attacks won't hurt him. The Great Lion's shell is too strong, and only a plasma weapon can pierce that defense. The creature realizes his opponent understood his plan. Because of that, he will try to cut off his tail, but he has more tricks up his sleeve to defeat the pirate boss. Now is the moment to try to stay a little far from the Hulk mutant. That will help gain more time in the battle. The Great Lion keeps trying to hit the protagonist with his blows. The creature needs to try to break the brute's defense, and for that he will use the sonic blade he took from one of the pirates. The player remembers Hulk mutants have a weakness. He must keep running until that weakness shows up. Because of that, he runs to the cargo hold and tries to buy time. The Great Lion keeps chasing the alien to try to attack him. He destroys everything in his way. Even the cockroaches run from the fury of that brute, and the protagonist takes advantage of that to make a snack. He knows he won't stand a chance against that monstrous strength. The player remembers Hulk mutants spend a lot of energy and need to take breaks. Sooner or later, that brute will be forced to stop attacking. The pirate boss keeps searching for the place where the alien hid. Meanwhile, the monster just watches his opponent and remembers Hulk mutants have 2 hearts. Surely the Great Lion put the bomb detonator on one of his hearts, but he still needs to be sure which one has the detonator. Suddenly, the pirate boss manages to find the protagonist's hiding place and starts destroying everything protecting that monster. Because of that, the creature starts running again to try to escape, and jumps from container to flee the brute. The Hulk mutant starts getting tired, but keeps searching for where his enemy hid. The protagonist realizes his adversary is stronger than he thought. He should have stopped moving because of his weakness, but sooner or later he will need to take a break. The creature takes the chance to attack the pirate boss. The Hulk mutant realizes he will be attacked, and throws a big piece of metal toward the alien. The player manages to dodge that attack, and falls to the warehouse floor, safe and sound. At that moment, the Great Lion lets out a loud roar, and punches the alien's head powerfully. The monster manages to withstand the attack he just received, and will take advantage of this chance to attack. He uses the sonic blade to strike his enemy's arm, and manages to make a hole in the Hulk mutant's armor. This is the opportunity he needed to defeat his opponent. The pirate boss throws the alien away after receiving a bite, and tries to attack his opponent again with a punch, but something happened when he was bitten. He can't move like before, and realizes his opponent's plan worked. The alien's paralyzing venom started taking effect, and this makes the Hulk mutant fall to the ground, unable to move. The protagonist realizes his venom took a little longer to take effect. At that moment, the big guy starts asking for help, but the monster takes the opportunity to attack, and begins tearing the pirate boss's armor off his skin. He finally managed to defeat his powerful enemy. The creature finds the bomb detonator in the second heart, and understands that his enemy was trying to destroy the ship and him at the same time. But now he will only need to disarm the detonator. Suddenly, number 26 catches his attention, and warns that they are both going to have trouble. The protagonist asks what the problem would be. At that moment, his predator instinct warns that they are in danger. Because of that, he runs toward the pink amoeba, and grabs her to escape from there. Suddenly, a fireball hits the place where they were, and a voice says it's surprised that a monster managed to escape. Manuel asks the alien where he got such a good skill. The player is surprised the woman came after him, and realizes she has a high-level ability in her body. He knows she is too strong to defeat right now, and his instincts warn him not to fight that woman. Manuel watches the Hulk mutant fallen on the ground, defeated. He is surprised to see his scientist there. The woman praises the pirate boss's effort and strikes the bomb detonator with her blade. She says she can't let the Great Lion escape that ship. The protagonist is very worried and doesn't know what to do now. If he tries to attack the woman, he will be easily eliminated. The creature will need to flee to gather information about the woman. But suddenly MANHWA starts talking to the alien. She says she will spare that creature's life if he accepts her proposal and offers for the monster to become her pet. That's it for today, folks. Don't forget to comment and leave a like to help the channel. See you next time.